In one of the largest ever cryptocurrency seizures, the mastermind behind a $9 billion Bitcoin Ponzi scheme in China has been arrested and jailed in Britain for over 11 years. Qian Zhimin pleaded guilty, laundering the proceeds of an investment fraud into cryptocurrency now worth billions of dollars. Well, Jack Ding is a partner at Duan and Duan, a Beijing-based legal firm that is representing around 600 victims in China and also the head of firm-wide cross-border disputes resolution group. Jack, good to have you with us today. Firstly, can I ask you about this scheme that was pulled off by the person now known as Cryptoqueen? How did the scheme work and how were the victims, how did she get in contact with the victims?
Oh, thank you very much for the interview request. I would use three words to describe the scheme here in China. So the first word I would use is secrecy. So many people probably don't really believe. Actually, Qian Zhimin was rarely to be seen in the public. So until nowadays, I would say many of the victims, I would say majority of the victims have never seen her in person. So I still remember last year when I was in the United Kingdom to deal with the case, I was showing in the court. I show her in a video camera, and I shared that with the victims. And a lot of the victims here in China say, "Oh, Mr. Ding, are you sure it was actually Miss Chen?" So you see that this person run the schemes in China with secrecy. So the second word that I want to use the scheme is likable. So for those who really met her in person and for those victims who really read her articles, people think this person is very, very great. She has a lot of a visionary for China. She has a great visionary for the Bitcoin and mining industries. And obviously, she wrote a lot of things that is appealable to the public here in mainland China. And the third words that I want to use is the scheme is actually very well structured. So the company, the Tianjin Blue Sky company, was established in 2014. And since then, they have issued 10 different products. 10 different products. Think about it. China is very huge. And how would you be able to sell those products? Essentially, they use all these middle agents in different parts of China to run the schemes and to promote the schemes in different parts of the regions. And sometimes if you look at those victims, they are colleagues and they were former husband, wives. And a lot of family members, actually, maybe it was husband, investing that first. And then later they drag some of the relatives to coming into the scheme. So that's the word of a well-structured. They know how to get people involved, get paid, and use a lot of incentives to the victims, basically. So that's the three words: secrecy, likable, and well-structured to describe the scheme.
Yes,
here.
Jack, as you mentioned, this is such an elaborate scheme. You're representing quite a few hundred of Qian's victims. Can you tell us what they've lost? What is the extent of which of their livelihoods they have lost as a result of this Ponzi scheme?
Well, to be honest, we will have to say that there are quite a number of different types of victims. Obviously, majority of the victims are having a lot of troubles, have had a lot of troubles since the failure of Blue Sky. For example, some of them lost all their life savings, and some of them were not able to go for the regular checkup, and some of the people get cancer. Obviously, we have seen a lot of people like that, but we do have another type of victims, or so-called victims, that are early investors in the regime. They were actually lucratively being paid. They actually made quite a lot of money. I think when we talk about the victims, we really need to classify those people who participate into the schemes, just like many of the other schemes happening outside of mainland China.
Yes, for those who you mentioned who have lost their homes and their life savings, what are the chances of them getting their money back?
Well, I would say there are two legal proceedings actually going on in the UK as the public can see. One is the criminal proceeding, and the other is a civil recovery proceedings. To be honest, I think UK law has quite, well, full disclosure, I'm a UK attorney, but based on my conversations with the UK attorney, I think the standards for prove your loss is quite high. And we will have to establish a chain of evidence to prove that by the end of the day, your money was ended up in the custody of UK authorities. I look at quite a lot of victims' evidence. I would say it's possible, but the challenge is obviously very high. And also, I wanted to add one more thing is about a proceeding in mainland China as well. Uh, Obviously, a couple of weeks ago, the Chinese authorities has reopened a procedure and asked the victims to register online for their loss. So I guess there probably some sort of negotiations and some sort of conversations with UK and Chinese authorities to figure out just in case, if those victims are not able to prove their claims in the UK legal proceeding,
Yes.
whether or not in the future between government relationship or corporations, there might be some sort of asset sharing between the government, which will be ended up in the pockets of the victims eventually in China.
Yes, and is there a possibility that China might request the extradition of Qian back to China?
Actually, I don't know because there's no extradition treaty between two countries.
Yes.
And for now, I think majority of the victims are more concerned about the bitcoins and how and where those bitcoins will be able to distribute it to the victims, and how those money, if eventually being able to shared between UK and China authorities, how those money will be returned to the victims. So I think having Chen coming back to China is probably not a priority among majority of the victims, in my view.
Yes. And can you tell us, Jack, are your clients satisfied of the punishment she has been given, the sentence of 11 plus years by the British court? Do they believe that this is enough?
Well, that's a very good question. I think for majority of the victims, as I see from my chat messages, people believe justice has been served.
Okay.
And obviously, there are a lot of other people as well think, oh, this person has to be sentenced to death. You see all those comments, but that's rarely to be seen. Again, I think most importantly is where is the money going to? How the bitcoins will be able to coming back to the pockets of victims is the most important concern from many of my clients.
Okay, Jack Ding, really appreciate the time you've given to us to speak to us about the toll this has had on the victims of the Crypto Queen. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.